Hello and welcome to the pilot episode, I guess I'm calling this, of whatever I decide to call this. Um, I haven't touched this YouTube channel in a little bit, and a part of me feels extremely guilty for that. I miss making content, but past few months things have been extremely busy, but I was hoping this might be a way to generate some content on my commute to work. Again, I'm going to call this kind of a pilot test episode to see if how quickly I can put this together and how well the audio sounds, and yeah, we'll kind of go from there. And yeah, I figured each episode we would chat, or I would chat, because this is kind of a one-way conversation. But feel free to write your thoughts down in the comments. But I thought it would be a good opportunity to just bring up a single topic to do with the world of video games, and just have some thoughts about it. I know typically this channel has been mostly, well, actually all kind of Steam Deck review slash performance stuff, and you guys seem to be enjoying that content. So I'll start ramping that back up pretty soon here. But I also want to introduce some new content as well. So yeah, bear with me. This is I'm kind of doing this on the fly, and we'll see how well this goes. Um, Today, I guess we'll chat about the elephant in the room, and that is everything that's surrounding Hogwarts Legacy. That's the game, right? The Harry Potter video game. There has been a bit of a kind of a split opinion as to whether or not people should be supporting this game. The author of Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, has made some pretty transphobic comments. I see a lot of debate online whether or not things that she's said is transphobic or not. I feel like I'm not really in a position to say whether those comments are hurtful because I'm not a trans person, um, and if people are feeling upset by her comments, that's really shitty, and that really sucks. And I kind of understand why people might not be in favor of supporting this game since it's attached to her. Um, I can also see it on the other side of, this game has been made by a group of people that are pretty detached from J.K. Rowling. The story's been crafted by a studio that has actually come out and said that they don't necessarily support her opinions, and that's okay, and that's cool, right? So I guess the question is, like, the decision of whether to support this game, because it looks like a pretty fun game. The reviews started rolling in yesterday, and so far the game, is sitting kind of in the 8-9 range. Like it seems like a really great fun game, and myself, who's I'm not a huge Harry Potter guy. I've like my wife forced me to watch a couple of the movies, and they were okay. Typically, like the historic kind of wizardry, like mythical stuff, doesn't appeal to me much as like sci-fi. I'm kind of more in that realm of give me a robot or a cyberpunk setting, and I'm game. But as soon as you introduce witchcraft and magic, it doesn't really interest me. But from what I've seen of the game, I'm kind of interested. I'm still kind of on the fence whether or not to buy this, mainly because new releases are so expensive in where I live in Canada. If I was to buy this on my Xbox Series X, I'm looking at close to $100 with taxes and stuff, which is crazy for a new release. When historically I'm used to paying 50, $60 for a new release. That was kind of my bar. With that said, though, it can be found online from like a third-party key site for relatively cheap. So if I was to purchase it, I'd probably go that route. But yeah, kind of going back to the elephant in the room, there's been a ton of debate about whether it's ethically right to support you know someone you might disagree with's art, or in this case, she isn't like super involved in the game's development, but she'll likely be receiving royalties because it's her universe that she's created. Um, and yeah, I I feel for the people that are upset by this. I think it sucks that but they have every right to make a stance and kind of speak their mind. Just as I guess J.K. has the right, while I might disagree, to speak her mind too and voice her own opinions on things. Um, while I'm fairly progressive, I think the notion of cancel culture is kind of counterproductive. I think what happens is, and what has been happening, especially online, is that we yell and scream at each other, and then nobody wants to talk to each other any more calmly. So then we end up kind of all going into our separate corners of the internet, and then it just kind of festers more extremism on like all sides. Where unfortunately now we're in a state where people just can't have conversations with other people that view things differently. And personally, I would love to live in a world where we could just kind of talk to each other, and just have a bit more good faith in people, regardless of like how you feel about things. I personally believe that most people are good people. We just have different ideas on how to live our lives, and that is okay. And I wish there was just a bit more tolerance, like all around. Like I don't think if you decide to buy this game, you're transphobic or hateful or harmful. And I also don't think it's fair to harass people that do decide to pick up the game. Because I would say the vast majority of people are just buying it because a cool studio made a cool game, and it really has nothing to do with JK's opinions for the most part. At least that's kind of the pulse that I'm getting. Um, I also, if I like put my conspiracy hat on a little bit, um, like there has been a lot of it started yesterday when streamers got a hold of a copy of the game. There was kind of this campaign for people to go harass people streaming the game, which I think is absolutely terrible. There is one YouTube slash Twitch channel called Girlfriend Reviews. They do amazing content. And uh, the girl, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she was kind of forced to stop streaming because the harassment was so bad. And again, conspiracy hat on, I get the sense that it's actually people just kind of trolling, or if you are transphobic, what better way to make trans people look bad by posing as them and harassing people online? Um, if you've been around the internet long enough, you know that this is like a huge probability, and it's kind of gross. So yeah, it's a shitty situation all around. Um, like I said, I'm on the fence about picking it up. Um, and I can personally separate, the art from the artist. I can still listen to someone like Kanye, and completely disagree with some of the crazy stuff that he said lately. Um, and unfortunately, that's kind of the world we live in, where we're being exposed more and more to people's opinion because people just can't, like, keep things to themselves anymore. We have these platforms where every thought gets shared, which is kind of ironic because that is exactly what I'm doing for you guys right now. Yeah. Uh, let's try and have a civil conversation in the comments if you feel like you need to speak. Again, I'm a fairly progressive guy. I support trans people wholeheartedly. Um, but I also kind of see the other side where people are just wanting to enjoy a piece of entertainment, and if we kind of go down the rabbit hole of boycotting everything that's ethically incorrect, we're not going to end up with anything. And that's more of the state of the world that we live in versus anything else. And yeah, it's a tough one, and yeah, it's a good kind of interesting thought, but that'll wrap it up. Hopefully this records okay. Hopefully I sound all right. If you like this content, let me know. Um, Maybe we'll do this again. If not, this will just be a one-off, and I'll go back to making Steam Deck videos. And maybe the next one will be the Hogwarts Legacy on the Steam Deck. I heard it runs about 30 frames per second at 720p, which is kind of in that sweet Steam Deck spot. So we'll see. All right, enough rambling. Hope you guys have a good day and a good night.